Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
New for you at 6. We learned heartbreaking details in the story of a North Dakota Air Force family killed while traveling for the holiday season. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jordan Schreier. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero is live from where members of the family work. Joshua?
Jordan, I'm standing in front of the Grand Forks Air Force Base. This is as close as we can get. What we're being told is that airmen in there are grieving for the loss of a fellow airman. While no one at the Air Force Base wanted to talk on camera, here's what we do know so far. Anthony and Christy Dean were high school sweethearts. They just moved to Grand Forks in May. Anthony was a member of the military, and he moved his family from California to North Dakota with their 2 young daughters. It was a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old girl. Now, we learned that last week the family left Manville, which is just outside of Grand Forks, to California to retrieve some of their belongings. That's where they were living at previously. After they picked up a trailer and another vehicle in California, the family went to Caldwell, Idaho. That is their hometown. They spent a few days there. Then after that, they drove to Billings, Montana, where they were planning on spending the night before going to Ekalaka, Idaho. Now that's where things made a tragic turn. We're hearing that they were supposed to arrive in Ekalaka on Thursday for the Thanksgiving Day supper, but that never happened. The vehicle they were traveling was found around midnight, about 6 miles out of Billings. They all unfortunately died in that wreck. Now, what we're hearing from investigators is that they haven't determined yet a cause for the deadly wreck. As you can only imagine, the family is grieving. Everyone is grieving. Tonight at 10, you hear from one family member who says she just couldn't believe it. She was devastated by the loss. Again, we're standing in front of the Grand Forks Air Force Base. No one at the Air Force Base wanted to speak on camera, but they are telling us that they have counselors available to talk with some of the fellow airmen. Again, they were high school sweethearts. Anthony Dean was an airman stationed right here at Grand Forks Air Force Base. If we get any other new information, make sure to tune in at 10 o'clock and also to our website. Again, all 4 were killed in a tragic accident right before the Thanksgiving holiday. What we also do know as well is that the 5-year-old daughter was enrolled at Manville Elementary. She was involved in the Manville School District. Again, we'll bring you the latest at 10, and you'll hear from a family member. Jordan, back to you.
All right, Joshua Peguero reporting live. Thank you very much. Let's take that live look outside right now. Cooler today than what it was the day before. Is that chilling trend going to continue? Let's check in with meteorologist Justin Fanfarelli.
And thank you, Jordan. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, temperatures are on their way down, and that trend will continue as we round out the weekend and start next week. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. We've made it into the low to mid-20s across the area, and combine that with a wind from the north of 10 to 20 miles per hour. We are dealing with some cool wind chills into the teens in most places, but some areas into the northern valley and northwestern Minnesota into the single digits. We are seeing mainly cloudy skies, but we are staying dry. Now that trend will continue through the evening. Cloudy skies, temperatures falling back into the upper teens as we keep a breezy northerly wind and cool wind chills. We'll tell you how cold we're going to get for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and when our next chance of some snow is. That's coming up later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Justin. Authorities are seeing a disturbing trend in people driving drunk this holiday season, with roughly 300 DWIs issued in the area just this weekend. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly has more on the risks of driving drunk and the importance of having a plan.
When people are impaired, their judgment is impaired, and their reaction times, their sight, their vision, their balance, all these physical things that they need for driving aren't what they should be.
With hundreds of DWIs this weekend, authorities are on the lookout.
Officers are always aware of the signs that they see with impaired drivers, and they're enforcing those laws.
And Lieutenant Carey warns there is no easy answer as to how much alcohol is too much, so play it safe.
Alcohol affects the bodies differently, your size, what you've drank. We always say if you plan on having more than one, make sure you have a plan.
And part of your plan needs to include a sober ride home. Moorhead Police would like to remind everyone that buzz driving is drunk driving, so stay off the roads because there are consequences.
If you're not caught by the police, the consequences could be even worse. So the consequences of the death of a friend or yourself or people that you don't know, the damage, the property damage that it can cause. We see a lot of our arrests come from after the fact.
It's your responsibility to not get behind the wheel after drinking. But it's also your responsibility to report if someone is driving impaired before it's too late.
We ask that if you see something, say something. If you're behind a driver who's weaving all over the road or somebody who doesn't seem like they're paying attention to what they're doing, it could be alcohol-induced or impairment. It could also be inattentive driving because of texting. Either way, we'd want to address that issue with that driver.
While you're on the road this holiday season, you're reminded to drive safely and avoid becoming part of the statistics behind DWIs. In Moorhead, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
Minnesota's DMV also says DWI citations and arrests apply to all vehicles. That includes snowmobiles, riding lawnmowers, trucks, and boats. At least 39 North Dakota ambulance services plan to be in a procession as part of a memorial for the 3 people killed in an air ambulance crash in Morton County. Pilot Todd Lasky, nurse Bonnie Cook, and paramedic Chris Iverson were in the Bismarck Air medical plane when it crashed in a farm field shortly after takeoff from Bismarck late last Sunday. It was flying to Williston to pick up a patient. No one survived that crash. A joint celebration of lives will be held at 10 o'clock Monday morning at the Bismarck Event Center. Ambulances will also come from Minnesota, Montana, and South Dakota. Travelers and truck drivers could play a critical role in finding a missing Wisconsin teenager whose parents were shot and killed. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss disappeared on October 15th, the same day her parents were found murdered inside their Wisconsin home. Since the holidays is one of the busiest times for traveling of the year, volunteers say that drivers can help with the search for Jamie. They say it's the perfect time to expand the efforts in trying to find evidence of that missing teen. Officials are still searching for any clues or evidence related to Jamie's disappearance. An old scam is making its way around Facebook again this holiday season. We'll tell you what to look out for coming up on Valley News Live at 6. Plus, after the door-busting deals of Black Friday, small business owners are hoping you'll shop local today.